Hi everyone, and welcome to Estate Empire, a real-time strategy game where you get to hone in your skills to buy and sell properties and build your wealth. This game really spawned out of the idea of that urge to want to buy properties in real life, invest in them and then have them actually profit in the future. But you can't really do that, at least not in a quick way, or if you don't even have the money to buy a house, how do you even have those feelings? And that's where this game really, grew from, those feelings of buying a property, investing in it, and then selling for a profit. So this is actually the fourth iteration of this game. Previous versions were card games, or I did a mobile app version of the game where people were able to play against each other and see who comes out with the most victory points in the end. This game is very similar to its roots. Whoever has the most victory points at the end of the game wins. Moving on from the board game version of Estate Empire, I really wanted to bring to life a real-time strategy version with the goal, and hopefully we'll be able to implement it, the multiplayer version. But right now I'm just working on the single player and getting all the mechanics in the game that I feel really make it into a nice, compelling game. At the start of every game, players will be given a certain sum of money to spend with at which they please. In this version of the game, I had $500,000, and I recently just purchased a property for that price, leaving me at $0. When you purchase a property, you are then attributed victory points, which are indicated here at the bottom right-hand side of this panel. And the center of my screen indicates the total amount of victory points I have, as well as how much money I have, which is now $0. After purchasing a property, you can then go and essentially scroll through all these upgrades that I've listed. We have bathroom here, and I'm trying to upgrade, but I don't have any money to do it. As you see, it's a cost of $28,000. After the upgrades panel, you can click on the market panel or the for rent panel. Here you can essentially put up your property for rent, and it's searching for a new tenant right now. Like I mentioned earlier, this game will really put into perspective what players need to do with their money in the certain amount of time indicated at the start of the game. Right now, the counter at the center of your screen is just increasing, and that's simply the day counter right now. Each game will typically last around 30 years in game time, that is, and then players will be rated on their performance. So at the core of the game, this is just a simple high score game. How high of a score can you get with the assets you are given, essentially? So after obtaining a tenant, after a certain amount of days, you will then receive that money, and you'll continually just cycle through that throughout the game. If you wish to do anything else with this house, you have to stop its current task. So after placing on the market, players will then be able to interact with it and bid on it, and then you can accept the bid if you so choose. So let's take a look at our lower bar here. We have a couple of tabs, 3 of them right now. First one here is property sales, which will display a list of all the properties that are currently up for sale on the board. And you can click on the target icon and it'll take you right to it. Next up, we have our owned properties panel, and this is another list which will display all the properties that you currently own. Next up here, we have the market stats panel. Essentially, you can click through all of these different tabs and they'll display information about the current state of the game. Our first tab there was the sales that happened in the past 30 days, so you can kind of see the trajectory of where people are buying and that sort of thing. Next up, we have all current sales. So this is a list of all the properties that are currently up for sale and what category they are in. Next is the average property prices, and this is an indicator of just all the properties in the entire game, where they're standing as far as their price according to their victory points. Lastly, we have the Renter Demand tab, which will show the player just how much demand there is for their property or their type of property. So if there's a higher demand, it'll take a lot less time to find a renter, and then that translates to you being able to get your money faster per month. However, if there's a low demand for your property, that'll take a lot longer to find a tenant, and that means it'll take a lot longer for you to get money for your property. So that pretty much concludes this short, brief walkthrough of where I'm at with Estate Empire as it stands right now. It's a continue work in progress, and I'm excited to just show it to people as it is right now. It's sort of a tough thing to do that and to have people see it in its rough state as it is. But I'm glad I'm sharing it right now, and if anyone has any questions about the game, feel free to just let me know down below. And if you would be so kind, just feel free to like the video. That really shows me that you're interested in it and that I can make more of these. So with that, have a great one.